Good morning, ladies and gents. It's Timed Edge live stream, Friday the 13th. Hopefully, it's not going to be bad price action. Yesterday, I'm going to run you through. I threw in the towel a little bit early at 4 p.m. Sorry, at about 3:30 because I was frustrated. The market got to me, and what happened? The market gave us our model, the timed edge model happened, and there was a decent trade. So I have to work on that myself. Yesterday was a bit trying. NQ, then we had 6E in the morning, not giving us anything when we knew we were going to rebalance price to 50%. Why is that? We had the weekly cycle here. 6B broke below. We needed to rebalance price. This hit 50% of the previous day's range. Similar scenario today, right? Asia's ranged, so we have a tight range. We're expecting the wick to form in London. I am also aware of the higher time frame draw of liquidity. Okay, so we still have this. We've got SMT between these candles, sequential SMT. The draw becomes this model, thick high volume candle, right? CRT. It's a 3-candle model. Okay, yeah, it's taking a little bit more than 3 candles, but we're operating inside of this range of this candle. Okay, and if we look out to the, if we go to the weekly, wick above, close below. Okay. We've got more selling pressure on the 6B, but that was the weaker asset, as 6E and 6S actually went above. We failed to break above previous week's high here. So we've got divergence there, sequential SMT there. We could see this take out the other end of the previous week's range. We've closed below 50%. Well, we tapped into that already. So if price is going to run down, the next draw of liquidity would be previous week's low. It is Friday, and we have got CPI, so that might be incorporated in today's news release. Saying that, it is 7 a.m. Excuse me. Time for a Judas. Liquidity comes into the market. Frankfurt Open. We could see price at least fade from here. I'm not going to say it's going to roll. Not going to say it's going to be an extended move up. But we have a weekly cycle in a Q standard deviation. Okay, so that's there's a model there. I just have to be aware that previous day's low there is an important level. But with sequential SMT, we're looking for reversals. Okay, this could, because we've got the sequential SMT. If all assets were looking above previous day's high like that, I'll be looking for something to pop above an old high to take the low. Okay, the last kiss model. So I would be marking out that range high. If we were just above this, I'll be looking for the Judas into the low. That's the last kiss model, but that's not there because one asset has been taken over here. Okay. So we've got 1 more minute left to the range low is complete. We'll wait, see how price performs. As you know, I've been trading on my own account now. I've got my own futures account. I'm going to try and take that up to $100,000 this year. That is my target. Not the greatest week, to be quite frank. I haven't taken a trade. Got a little bit frustrated yesterday, threw in the towel and left for the gym. So we're getting the open. We're getting the open. You know what I want to see? We'll drop down to the M1. Let's see what price does. We're looking for a sweep of liquidity. So we want one asset to take range low. Give us a microcycle and a precision swing point. We are in Q standard deviation over here, right? We've got a weekly cycle. Although I don't think this is going to be an extended move, right? I don't think this is going to go up as high. But we trade what we see, okay? We're waiting for one asset to break at the moment. I am just going to mark out previous day's low here, because if we get near to it, really near, then I'll wait for the sweep of that. If 6E is the asset that turns out it's going to sweep, and it's looking that way, to be quite frank. Let's have a look. Because you can see here, look, that'll be a draw. That'll be a draw of liquidity there. So just have to be cautious. But that being said, if we do get a sweep down here, we could still push up, just because 6S is miles above, so that's the stronger asset out of the three. 6B being the weakest. Let's see how we get. See how we get on here. Right, so we've broken the range low over there. Give it a microcycle. What's the time? I think this might go for that liquidity, the draw of liquidity there, to be quite honest. Yeah, I'm confident in saying that this is going to draw now to this level, so I'm not looking to take any position at the moment. I want to see that swept. I don't really trade the other assets, so I'll wait for this to be swept. Yeah, definitely. Well, it's gonna. Okay, so we've swept the level. We've also swept the range low on 6S. 6B remains above. Let's see what happens here. Could look to take that. See if this closes up. No, we're going to push down. Long as 6B remains above. Let's remain on that. Oh, the precision swing points actually cancelled, so we'll get rid of that. Let's have a look here. We've still got a micro. Price is reacting to this. We've got we've got, yes, we have got a precision swing point there. We could set something above. Still got a micro in. I think this is just drawing lower. I'm going to hold off on this, I think. I think this is going to roll over. So we're seeing 6B take the low, so the micro is no longer valid. Price looks to me drawing lower. I think we might even go for this liquidity below this low here. Yeah. 6B's taking the low. Range low over here, so that's all assets below. Now realistically I'd like to see some kind of confirmation, clean inversion, double gap entry, something like that. At the moment it's 7 AM as well, which means it's time for a Judas. So this all could be just priming for 8 AM open. Okay. I did have a position on this, but I cancelled it just because this was pushing down. Right, we want to see some sharp moves up. Right, at the moment we've just gone in here. We've cancelled the micro anyway, so there's nothing for us to do here. No micro. The only way I could take that would be clean inversion or wait for the 15-minute. So it's 7:08 at the moment. We need a fresh micro anyway, so if we were going to take 15-minute. We haven't made an upper wick, have we? So we're drawing to some kind of level. I was right not to take that, okay? Intuition was tingling there. So I could have been in a position here and that would have been stopped out, okay? Let me just there was a precision swing point there. We had the micro. The reason for me not taking it, right, is because we're right on the line here, right on the line of the 1 hour range low. So where's price going to be drawn to? It's going to take out this. That means if price is going to do that, we need to see some inversion, some extra confluence. So that's why I didn't take the trade. There. Even if you put a position on, the idea would just be to cancel it rather than just let that happen, you would have took a small loss probably when that runs the low, because the microcycle's still not there. Okay, so we've taken previous day's low. Let's have a look at the 1 hour. Where could price be drawing to? If price is drawing down there, let's mark that out. Sorry guys, I'm just going to drink some water. Right, yeah, so let me just reiterate that again, right? Microcycle here, okay? Why did I get out of it? This was drawing to the low. This wasn't going up, okay? So for me, I know price is going to take this low here. So even if you had a buy stop above that and you got hicked in, as soon as this took the low, the microcycle's done. So there's no sequential SMT. So you should have got out of that position. All right, so this is the best way for you to learn from me, because you're seeing price action develop as I see it, for sure. Okay, so price is drawing lower. This is, look, we've got no upper wick. Okay, we're probably going to fade the move. We could probably fade the move after the key level's been taken. That's the liquidity below this low, which is that 3 candle model. Expansion, accumulation, manipulation. We didn't have the distribution yesterday. That was not distribution. We are distributing lower now, but this is an extended move of yesterday. Yesterday was a bit, I mean, look, you can see here. This is why I got a bit frustrated with the price action, right? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours of 7 hours in that tight range, and then the moment I leave, the manipulation happens and it runs the low. So we're moving lower. This is going to be drawing. I mean, this will be a good entry point if price does get down here into that Asia standard deviation. We have got no upper wick on that candle though, so it means we probably will be revisiting that at some stage. Let's mark out the 15 minute, because we're getting some buyers come in now, clearly. Mark out the low. So all the sell side's been taken from the 1 hour range, right? So that's why I dropped down to the 15 minute. That could give us the fuel, the sell side to take the high. Right, I don't really try and take anything until the 15 minute candle comes in. This is not something I'm looking for right now anyway. But this is what I'm kind of looking for when we're looking for a precision swing point and on one of the assets, right? This is still closing down. If we started putting in some bullish bars over here, not bearish bars, then maybe I would have probably held it, but I knew price was going to run for this low. We're just all at the moment, remember, 7 AM, this is just a Judas. So price is trapping people on the wrong side of the market. Not all the time, but that is the function for 7 AM London. All my times are in GMT. I do not trade in New York because I don't fucking like ICT. His concepts are great, but I think he's gone a bit too far with a lot of things. But anyway, right. So we're getting this. We managed to find a level here. If we get a double gap, then maybe I might consider this. We've got some gaps here. If we double gap on the way up, maybe. was going to say, I was waiting for that next microcycle to come in. So we've had expansion on the first candle, right? So I would expect accumulation or to form a range, and then 7:30 to take a position, 7:30 for the manipulation, right? So let's just see what happens here. We are getting a massive push now. Right, there's no wick, upper wick created on that. We just had a straight push down at 7 AM. That means we were just literally clearing liquidity for the move. I did put in a group, there was a daily cycle as well, it was a weekly, but 6S took the low. Excuse me. Yeah, 6S took the low, so we're still operating in that. Right, this 15-minute bar, right, we had 2 expansion candles. I don't know why this is acting up over here. Two expansion candles. I'm expecting a range to form in this bar. Yes, 6B does seem to be doing its own thing, while these two are quite similar price action. So we could get a range, and then a manipulation in 12 minutes below. That could be our entry. Bearing in mind we're still in this Q standard deviation over here on 6B, which is positive for us. It's just an extra confluence. Okay, so we've got a weekly cycle in the Q standard deviation. We are breaking it down to the 15-minute. Right, while we wait, we can. This is NQ, really not my friend at the moment. We pulled into an area up here. You can see I've marked the high, and it didn't give us an entry. Give me a minute, guys, while I'm just sorting out my charts for today. I manually do Asia range. The reason being is it keeps me focused and it doesn't make me lazy. Right, I'm just going to do this while we wait 10 minutes till the candle. Okay, so I'll start on a weekly. It's week 2 manipulation. Now, did we get any manipulation? Look, you can clearly see there we've got this range has formed. YM wicked above, manipulated above. What are we expecting next week? Distribution, right? So this candle's low. We should distribute to this candle's low. Again here. What was that candle there? That was a range. YM took previous week's high. We've already hit the 50% of all. And you can see over here we're just bouncing off the 50% now of this previous week's bar. So we'll see if we'll get a break of that today. Then I'll drop down to the daily time frame. We're bearish on the profile. Clear state of change of state of delivery. Right, so we've closed below that low. All assets have. Where's our draw of liquidity then? Our draw of liquidity is this bar here. Right, but we're bouncing off this weekly at the moment. All assets have taken previous day's low. So if we've got a bearish daily profile, the object of the day is to sell above the open, right? Above the open, sell above the open to take out previous day's low. But we've woken up, jumped on the charts, and you can clearly see that we have all the assets have wicked below. Okay, let's just put that in there. Going to show you something I look at. So then I would go to the 6 hour and I want to see how the 6 hours reacted around this level. This is still ongoing, so we've still got 3 hours of this candle, so it is definitely a wick at the moment. There's nothing's traded below and closed below. So that's how I would look. If I was on the weekly time frame, I would look at the daily. If I was on the monthly time frame, I would look at the weekly. So we're reacting out this SMR zone, smart money reversal. We've got this weekly. The levels are too good, right? You can't say that this is the previous week's equilibrium, mean reversion, 50%, whatever you want to call it, matches perfectly up with this Q standard deviation, right? So we're just stacking confluences. So if you've got the timed edge indicator, this will be easy for you anyway because it marks it out for you. You can just draw take the high and low of the area and then draw it out over to the time section. Okay, so that's how you draw Asia range. That's how I draw it every morning. I like to do it manually. Keeps me sharp, gives me something to do, not make sure I'm looking at the Asia range, and then I measure it as well, don't I? I always will collect data on this, how big the range is. It tells me what the market's doing. If there's lots of indecision, if there's macro events coming out over in the evening, well, depends what time frame you are, time zone you're in, but so Asia's expanded. Session profile for the day would be accumulation in London. We have wick below. We've already mitigated a Q standard deviation. I don't really trade to 8 AM, so this I expect after a large range move we'll probably see something more than likely happen in New York. If we are, but we've got, bearing in mind we've got CPI, so yeah, it's there's nothing here for me to take. All assets are below the previous day's low, and we have got no daily cycle. We're moving out of this zone, but we've already tapped and mitigated it. I would have taken something if all assets were in that Q standard deviation. That is enough of a confluence for me. But it looks like we're not going to get anything favourable, but we pay attention. Let's go back to currency futures triad. Price is pushing down. We're still in this zone, aren't we? We've still got minute. We're seeing that range form now. So the first candle, if you can see this, here and here. This one didn't do exactly the same, but I would say that's expansion. Okay, so the first candle expansion, we've got no upper wick. So if we were going to XAMD, this would be a range. We're expecting the manipulation lower to go up higher to try and target some of this available liquidity up here. It's 7:30 coming now. We'll see what the micro's saying, because it might not fit with the model. When did that come? 15, 22 minutes after that. Let's just watch how price performs now. We are in Q standard deviation still on the 1 hour, because that's the time frame we are predominantly use. So as far as I'm concerned, we're still within this area to trade out of. Equal lows, draw of liquidity. Price may continue going down here. It might continue. If you see here, we're getting some is a high volume bar, isn't it, on 6E and 6S. I think we're shooting for something. Price is definitely being drawn. When we got price like this, CPI was released as a macro data. That's why we're getting that push. Okay, so I've forgotten about that. CPI on the Swiss. We'll let that settle, I think. I think that's what was holding price up this morning here. That's why price was just there was just a liquidity draw. We were waiting for CPI. I didn't actually mark that out this morning. Not good. Did get the manipulation below that low. Price will probably draw in there. I'm gonna wait for 8 AM. I think if this does shoot up, then fair enough. We've got all kinds of bits going on here. In terms of leaving this equal here, I'd like to see a double gap or a clean inversion. I'm not liking this price action. We've got liquidity above. Let's see the 15-minute. You know, we've got previous day's low here as well. It's a key level to be. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'll wait and see what happens. Now. I'll mark out this. Sorry, I was just looking at NQ, see what that's doing. Prices stalling. We've built up this level of liquidity here, right? Okay. So I'm with the news released at past. I think I'll stop the stream. I'll come back on at 8. See how this candle's performed. We're drawing into this. We have to be careful if we start drawing into these lows here, because we've got equal lows here. Right, if we start drawing into this, cancels the weekly cycle. And maybe we should be looking for a continuation to draw back into these key levels down here. I am planning on just getting a webcam as well, so I will be live with a webcam as well, so you can see it's me. And hopefully, I can grow the channel a bit. Yeah, here we go, look. So prices just keep pushing down. 7 AM is the Judas, right? See, liquidity built here. Liquidity built here, so good trading decisions this morning. Stay out of this, stay away from this. This was partly news related, probably not enough liquidity to make that bounce. Now we're drawing into something. I don't know if we're going to go for this low. We are going to be in this SMR level, standard deviation. 6B could be drawing into this low, as well as 6S drawing into these lows. So it's a waiting game for us. You know, the sequential SMT is priority for reversals, but we still have to look at the overall higher time frame, right? Monday's expanded, accumulation on Tuesday manipulated. I think because of the NFP and the large range move, I think it moved. We've managed to find fair value on Thursday, and that's why we stuck within the range. And now we're seeing that distribution come in, which we probably I would have expected it to come in on Thursday. So yeah, so that's something to be aware of. I think this expansion of NFP probably cleared a lot of liquidity here, where that would have been probably Thursday's function to take out this liquidity, and we probably would have seen a bit of price action, but it stayed within this fair value. The manipulation at 4 PM was news related as well, because it was something to do with the AI. Remember, there's no upper wick on that candle as well, so that gives us a little bit of indication that we could go back up still. We've taken the low. I'm still going to wait for 8 AM because that's the London Open, so we will see how this develops. As long as this asset stays above here, we can still take this trade long. I'm not going to shoot for the moon with it though. I'm only fading the move because I still think the overall trend will take out this low. Key level here. We're still operating within this range. Let me just mark that out for you for all the viewers to see. Okay, we're operating within this range, in this range. Okay, candles are ranges. Okay, so you can see now that this thick up close candle providing us with an object target. So if that is the case, and I do get a long here, I'm not looking for, you know, above previous day's high. well, we'll see, but because Friday has a specific function as well, right? It closed back within the range, closed with liquidity, and we could see previous next week's sell-off. We have got CPI today as well. There's something on that. Conscious of 130 CPI. Let's write that down. So you'll often find that this happens at 7 a.m. Right? I keep explaining this, but I just wanted to reiterate this. Right? If price is above or below a level, let me draw in the range high, range low. Here, price is sitting at this level. 7 a.m. will come, and if all three assets are the same, if we get a pop up above an old high here, I'll look to take that short just into this low, or that prior low, or some other liquidity here. That is a model within itself, exactly how I explained it. And it also works in the reverse, right? If all three assets we're trading in a range below, and even more so if we're trading with the daily profile. Okay. 7 a.m. comes, we'll get this range, low formed here, pop below the old low to take out the high. Judas will happen, maybe one asset will form, and then we'll get this sweep. This will be 8 a.m. This will be 7. If you go back and test that, that is a model that happens more often than you think. And time is the main function with that model. Okay, so we're getting some rejection here. 6B is pushing up a lot more. Cleared that liquidity. We had a similar scenario yesterday, weekly cycle in the morning. We had this massive wick going into 7 a.m. No trade was given to us. 2 seconds. Well, there was definitely buyers there. You can see 6B now pushing up. This can't be the second time this week. definitely some buyers coming in. 7 a.m. proving to be the Judas. Push down at the open. We've got no upper wick here. We knew this was going to come back up. Shame we didn't get an entry. Okay, so we're getting a push now. We've taken out. You can see we left that wick, the no wick. Sorry, we've taken that out now on 6E. Disappointing we couldn't capitalize on this move, considering we were just been watching it. Did get an expansion, accumulation, then a manipulation. The manipulation did form no precision swing point, and once we get that, all assets run below, and we didn't come back to fill this area anyway. So there's no setup. Even if we traded this, the wick below, the inversion, we would have traded to 50%. Okay, so on to the next one. The read is correct though. You know, we're seeing the read this week. It's just not materializing into trading profits, unfortunately. You know, this is why I got a bit frustrated yesterday after this barcoding of 6E. I just left when realistically I should have stayed to 4 p.m. at least. That's my cut-off time, 4 p.m. and trade would have come in. Let's just walk through that as well. So we saw this 1 hour CRT model. This is actually a standard deviation box above, so we could have just marked the high. We marked the high. This course, the microcycle, we've got precision swing point, take the precision swing point above. What time was that? Yeah, 6 minutes past 4. Still valid for entry for me, especially if that happened. You know, target, first target probably be below that low. Second target would be there. If I was going to hold overnight, I probably wouldn't have. I probably would have got out around this kind of area here, even at that low again, or the second drive into that, the second drive into this low. Nice 10R though. Oh, mistakes are made, got frustrated, NQ's poor price action, and then got left behind because I left the cockpit. So I think CPI had something to do with this push down we saw on the Euro. Swissies a lot builds up most of the heavily against the Euro, so we're seeing price now come back up. I mean, first draw, the liquidity will obviously be Asia high, and then up to 50%. Daily 50% obviously comes in line with Asia high, so I'd expect to see something above that. We have got a wick on all the assets, so let me look at the 15-minute. Looks like we're getting expansion again. So maybe we can break down the 15-minute within the 1 hour on the next bar. Accumulation in the first swing, and then maybe get something going into half 8, possibly. But again, right, we're then in the territory where we want to see something get below the 50% of this, because 50% of that wick will have to be filled. Okay. Same on this asset. You want that area to be at least mitigated, otherwise it's going to come down and tap that in. Not necessarily here, but 50% of the candle certainly. So if we're getting this expansion, we've got an accumulation. Let's just draw the GAN again, right? We want to see something form here, and then a tap into this 50%, and then go. Okay, that would be the model I'd be looking at to take this long. Okay, so nothing's going to happen, especially with this expansion now. I feel like I've been violated slightly this week, because I've called multiple levels live. This live. Tuesday I stayed away from. Okay, but yeah, so I had this live. NQ yesterday was live as well, and I've just been pushed to one side, basically. Even today, yeah, well, you see me try and take this live today. Model wasn't there. Okay, we're getting this massive expansion. First draw of liquidity will be this high. Let's mark this in. Okay, let's see what we got there. Once we take Asia high over here, we can see sellers start to creep in. Okay, whether we get what we got, Asia ranged, yeah. So we expected a wick to form in London, right? Got the Judas, price opened up, tested liquidity, pulling back up. Okay, we could get a reversal in New York. At the moment, I wouldn't be interested in taking a reversal. I think let the 6 hour play out. Wow, there's definitely some buying pressure in that, isn't there? Right, I'm going to go make some porridge. I'll leave the stream running actually. I was going to shut it. I'm not going to be long, just make some breakfast. We've got an expanse on both candles, right? I'm waiting for the next 15-minute bar to have a range. I want to get back below 50%. If we do, if we don't, if we start clearing all this buy side up here, then I just have to take it on the chin that we've missed the position, and there wasn't an entry model for us. We come down and swept that low. All assets were below the 15-minute low. Okay, so we need to see an inversion at the 50%. It just didn't happen. It just didn't form our model. There's no precision swing point there either. So just look at the 15-minute. That was the bar. All assets run below that low. Okay. So for me, that means I need a little bit of extra confluence. I can't just take that. I need an inversion, double gap, fresh SMT, like a small on the 1M. Yeah, we didn't get that. So still expansion. I know this but we had the expansion before. Okay, so that's why we're getting this slowdown on 6B. But anyway, we're using 2 out of the 3 correlated assets, which is high enough probability for me as a confluence. 8 AM, NQ's not really doing a lot. We're staying in the same thing there, so large range move, right? So we're expecting a bit of accumulation, maybe in New York. We got CPI. Not really the price action I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for this. I'm gonna actually stop the stream, and I'm gonna be back and see what sets up over here, and see if we come down to the 50%. If it does, I will start the stream up again. All right, cheers. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Timed Edge.